Hello there, blade lovers. This old sword, back with you once again. This blade has been kicking around the case now for close to a year maybe. So I figured it's time to give it a little air and some exposure and tell you a little bit about it. So here we have the Kizer Splinter. And it's interesting, I find, because it doesn't measure up like a small knife, but the height of the handle, height of the blade, the weight, make it feel like a small knife. Therefore, I'd classify it as a quote-unquote gentleman's knife. Ladies, we could make that a gentlewoman's knife, if you'd like. But something you wouldn't carry for work, necessarily heavy use, although it's a strong knife. So what we've got is a S35VN steel blade, a full titanium handle, 3D milled very nicely and interestingly. The design is by Tomcat, as are a number of the Kizer knives. Fair amount of branding on it, but it's small. The name Splinter is right there, in case I forget. And the designer mark right there. Other side we have Kizer. And we have the steel and what appears to be a blade steel type marked on there. I just had a light go out, so I am going to switch batteries. Be right back. All right, back at you with me old fill light back on again. Kizer Splinter. A lot of nice detail on this little knife. We'll discuss the size in a moment. Got 3 screws holding the backspacer in. Very interesting. On both sides. We have an external screw for the clip, machined titanium clip. Got my little tester here. Yep, it's titanium. And the pivot is steel. Let's see what we got here. Looks like we got... Yeah, we got steel screws. Anyway, it was more for my fun and amusement. Frame lock with hardened steel insert. Fairly narrow blade. And was already open, so let's flip it. Detent's a little hard, combined with the fact that there is no jimping on the flipper tab, and it's small. You got to make sure you do it in one continuous back pull stroke. It is not a knife that will fall or drop shut because it is a light blade. And I decided not to particularly tune it so that it's looser. Something I'm going to remember to begin showing is the blade centeredness, and this hasn't been adjusted. The blade's nicely centered. Size in the hand. Fills the hand, where the hand fills the handle, not sure which. but I can get all 4 fingers on there. And the front finger groove is fine. I mean, I got medium large hands, not giant meat hooks, but if you do, you might not get all your fingers on there. As I say, it's not a tall knife. Let's look at some of those measurements. Blade in millimeters. I think we're going to come out around 3.5. 3. 2.9. Okay. Handle width 0.4, under ½ inch. And tip to stern 7.5 inches. So not an 8-incher, but not that short either. We've got a 3 3/8 inch blade. Got a cutting edge, 3 3/8 as well. How does it stack up against some known quantities? There's the Griptilian. And the Griptilian's blade is pretty close, maybe a skosh longer, more like 3.5, and about 1 inch longer handle. Here we have the Freak. Definitely a larger knife. Definitely a much higher handle. Blade 3/4 of an inch longer, something like that. Maybe not quite, ½ inch longer. And finally, the relative big guy, the Rat 1. Pivot to pivot, longer blade, longer handle, as expected, and higher handle. So just to give you an idea, we have a max height here on the Rat 1 handle. Let's see if I can get it about there, of a 1.12 inch. And on this little guy, we have a max height of 0.67. So big difference. We didn't catch a weight on it, so let's do that. Close her up while we do that, so as to avoid any unfortunate accidents as happen now and then. So it is a lightweight, 2.45 ounces. Yes, it is a nice light blade. Again, maybe your Sunday carry. It does get a little sticky from time to time, but I think with the liner being as small as it is and the handle being as short as it is, it's pretty easy to put some pressure on that lock bar when you don't intend to. So if I go way back there, much easier. So, I mean, that's the art form with the frame lock knives. Since you've got an exposed locking bar, it is easy from time to time, as I'm sure you know, to put a little bit of pressure on that lock bar, and you're working against yourself. So I think those are the details for this little knife, the Splinter by Kizer. You can switch the clip easily from right to left side. And I believe I did mention that we've got a lanyard hole there with an interesting little cutout here to allow the lanyard to pull to the rear. You don't see that too often. And really beautiful, nicely done handle, as Kizer does a lot of the times with their all titanium handles. I got a few of them. So give it a like if you do. Don't forget to subscribe. And thanks everybody who've been giving the shout outs to the channel lately. Hope to do more, and be well. Catch you in the near future.